immediate pause.
You remember that, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Obviously, that response is way more poignant now than it was. And it's a great answer either way, because who doesn't want to just be able to savor some special time in your life or memory.
And she recognized that as a special time.
Mm-hmm.
If only she could have stopped time.
That's all for now. I'm Lester Holt. Thanks for joining us.
NBC4 News at 11 starts with breaking news.
That breaking news at 11 is a police chase involving a stolen ambulance. NBC4 was overhead just before 10 o'clock tonight. The ambulance being pursued by several LAPD cars on the 5 freeway. It eventually got to the 14 heading north toward Palmdale. That's where News Chopper 4 had to pull off because of weather and darkness in the area. Police say someone stole it from some sort of an incident in the San Fernando Valley. There was no patient inside the ambulance. We just found out that chase has ended. They were able to use spike strips and got the driver to pull over near Palmdale Boulevard. And with that, good evening, everyone. I'm Kathy Vara in tonight for Carolyn. And right now, the holiday travel rush is on. If you look through the fog out there at LAX, all you can see is brake lights. The trip to the airport, not an easy one, but how is it once you get there? Well, we're going to find out. NBC4's Macy Jenkins is live out there tonight. Hi, Macy.
Hi, Kathy. One thing's for certain, you got to be glad that you are in that studio and not stuck in this traffic. It took my photographer 50 minutes to drive just 3/4 of a mile from the In-N-Out on Sepulveda to up here on Terminal 7 on the departing part of the Horseshoe. The FAA says today is its busiest day of the year-end travel season with 52,000 flights scheduled. Take a look at this cell phone video from earlier. This is outside of the Sepulveda Boulevard entrance to LAX about 45 minutes ago. Traffic was at a standstill, with some travelers ditching their rides and deciding to walk into the airport instead. Now, up here in the Horseshoe, I can only describe it as a sea of red lights as cars tried to make their way out of the airport. AAA is expecting more than 122 million people to travel between tomorrow and New Year's Day. That number went up by 3 million from just last year. Now, about 8 million of those people are expected to fly. The FAA saying it'll handle more than 440,000 flights from December 18th through the 27th. And listen to this. American Airlines says from December 18th to January 5th, it has 4 flights departing every minute.
Oliver, what was it like trying to get to the airport today?
Hectic today.
How long were you in that traffic outside?
Like 40 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Were you worried that you were gonna miss your flight?
Somewhat, yeah. The ETA kept on going more every single minute, so we were getting a bit worrisome.
How long have you been waiting?
About like 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So who's supposed to be picking you up today?
Mom and Dad.
And what'd they tell you?
We'll get there when we get there.
They're just crawling in that traffic out there.
Yeah, they're stuck.
How are you feeling now that you're here, but you still gotta wait?
Pretty good. I mean, it's Christmas, so can't really be too upset.
Now, according to AAA, 90% of the travelers this year will drive to their destination. That's about 109 million people, and 5 million will take trains, buses, or cruises. Now, Kathy, you know this is my favorite part about the travel stories. We want to know where everyone is going. I'll give you the list from AAA. The top 5 domestic destinations are not too far off from what they were during Thanksgiving. 3 of the top cities are in Florida. That's Orlando, Miami, and Fort Lauderdale, with LA and Honolulu rounding out that list. As for the international destinations, 3 of them are in Mexico: Cancun, Cozumel, and Puerto Vallarta, along with Punta Cana and the DR, and the last one, San Jose in Costa Rica. That'll do it for us here at LAX. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right, we're going to check that list on LA after we give you the weather forecast. Thank you, Macy. Turning now to our weather, clouds and fog, rain on the way for the Christmas holiday, and lots of it. Meteorologist Kelly Moody here with a check of that first alert forecast.
Thanks, Kathy. We're going to take a look outside at those visibility numbers, and you can see they are dropping numbers. Just a half mile where we were just talking to Macy at LAX, a mile and a half for Anaheim and for Santa Ana. That visibility does improve the farther inland you go, but it takes a little bit before you start to lose sight of that fog. We're keeping it foggy. We're keeping it hazy. A quick reminder, we do have another air quality alert in place through your Saturday. In Riverside, I expect tomorrow a daytime high of 75 degrees, but then the cool down continues down to the 60s by Christmas Eve, with temperatures dropping then about 11 degrees. But of course, our focus is on the rain cloud because we are expecting some wintry conditions, at least SoCal style. Rain arrives late Tuesday, becomes more widespread as we look ahead toward your Wednesday. We're going to keep those snow levels pretty high, not going to see a ton of snow out of this. And so our main concern will be with widespread potential for flooding and, of course, travel impacts. That will be a big focus over the next couple of days. I'll have more on the track of this storm coming up. Kathy?
All right, Kelly, thank you. Tonight, there are new developments in the double murder case against Nick Reiner. Nick is accused of killing his parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner, last weekend. And tonight, NBC4 Investigates is uncovering more about his mental health, medication, and the murder weapon in the case. Investigative reporter Eric Leonard has more.
Well, as with many court documents that have to do with medical or mental health issues, the one we're talking about today is under seal or confidential, meaning we can't see what it says. But Nick Reiner's mental health as a factor in the criminal case is now coming into clearer focus, and this judge's order could further delay the initial stages of the prosecution. 3 sources with direct knowledge of the case against Nick Reiner confirmed that he was diagnosed some years ago with schizophrenia and that he was being treated with medication which was recently changed or adjusted. The sources tell us they believe this will become a central issue in how the criminal case against him proceeds. Reiner was charged Tuesday with the murders of his parents. He appeared in court briefly Wednesday, but postponed entering pleas to the charges until January, and that could be to allow time for whatever it is that the judge ordered in this sealed filing. Also tonight, the sources are telling us police are still searching for the murder weapon. Our law enforcement contacts say it's of limited investigative value given all the other evidence they've collected, but still, detectives say they would like to find it. Reiner is being held with no bail. That next court date is January 7th. It is possible the order filed today could cause another delay. So far, he has not entered pleas to those murder charges. I'm investigative reporter Eric Leonard, NBC4 News.
Today, the Justice Department released hundreds of thousands of files connected to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The files include investigative materials from the FBI, previously sealed grand jury records, and never before seen photos, and a lot of redactions, which isn't sitting well with some. Tonight, for the first time, the Epstein files made public. The Justice Department posting hundreds of thousands of items online related to the DOJ's criminal investigations of the late sex offender, including photos that do not include context or prove any criminal activity. Here, former President Bill Clinton appears in a hot tub with someone whose face is redacted. In another, Clinton is seen next to Epstein, and Michael Jackson seen here with Epstein. Another shows Epstein co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell, Mick Jagger, and Bill Clinton seated at a table. And this photo of Epstein with Richard Branson. The Justice Department and FBI this summer said they did not uncover evidence that would warrant an investigation against uncharged third parties. The documents contain numerous redactions, including to protect victims' identities.
What is not fine is for him to engage in additional redactions without any explanation. And that's the question that we have.
No administration had released the documents until Congress voted nearly unanimously to order the DOJ to make them public.
We also want to know why the government failed in so many years. These crimes went on for decades, through 5 different presidential administrations before Epstein was finally put in jail.
All of it comes as new details have been published of Epstein's rise from private school teacher to financial advisor for the wealthy, described as a chronic liar who still gained the trust of powerful people. The New York Times reporting he lied on his resume, abused expense accounts citing interviews with people in Epstein's past. And tonight, a top Democrat demanding the DOJ explain what's in and not in the files that were released.
So far, I have to say that the release has been disappointing from the initial read of it. But, you know, I reserve judgment until we go through all of the release.
And the top Republican sponsor of that law posted to X tonight, quote, "Unfortunately, today's document release grossly fails to comply with both the spirit and letter of the law that President Trump signed just 30 days ago." Thomas Massie went on to say that a future DOJ could file charges against the Attorney General for not following the law. New tonight, 2 paragliders who fell into the ocean were rescued by sheriff's deputies. It happened this afternoon just east of Nobu Restaurant in Malibu. NBC4's Darsha Phillips is in Calabasas tonight with more from those deputies. Darsha.
Well, Kathy, sheriffs say those paragliders were screaming in the ocean, yelling for help in Spanish, saying that they were sinking. And the fog was so thick that the responding deputies couldn't even see where they were. But those deputies say that they were not going to let those paragliders drown.
Deputy Christopher Matkin and Deputy Zavat Gregorian did not hesitate, stripping off their safety equipment and rushing into the ocean at Carbon Beach in Malibu to save 2 paragliders who landed in the ocean.